Well, really about starting conference play. Exciting time of the year. You go through the first 3 games and assess and evaluate. If you could do it differently, like each player, if you had an opportunity to do that over again, how different would you do it? Because everyone gets put in that situation from time to time. You would have tackled it this way, or you would have did this on the football, or what would you have done? So really important to learn lessons from the first 3 games, and it's an exciting time going into conference play.
Everyone wants to know about your quarterback situation, but how do you evaluate Nevada at that position? They've had 3 different guys play there already this year.
Yeah, it's like I told the team, I have no idea who's going to play quarterback for them because they've had 3 guys there. The transfer from Alabama played most of the game last week. So I'm really not sure going in, so we have to be prepared for everything.
And as far as your quarterback situation, when are we going to know who's taking that first snap?
It's the same as always. We'll go through the week, with preparation, see how the game plan goes, and make a determination on that later in the week.
What about the rest of practice? How will you decide that?
It will be, it will be with both Chasen and Marcus. They'll both get reps, and like I said, as the game plan plays out, we'll determine who's going to take the first snap on Saturday.
So who has the first question from the group in the back? Nothing from anybody today?
All right, so Coach, how does the team look health-wise after you guys had that week off?
We're fine. We got a chance to get a little bit healthy. Jeff Allison was a guy who had a hip pointer coming out of Washington, so the break was good for him. Also, he had 4 impacted wisdom teeth that he got taken out last week, so it was a good time to get that done. So that forced him to take even more time off, but he's ready to go. Feel like the guy's got a good opportunity on Friday and Saturday to rest and get physically and mentally recharged. Came out yesterday and had a real upbeat practice, and so looking forward to a great week.
How important is it for these guys really to buy in that it's 0-0 heading into conference play?
Well, it's important, and it's not hard to do that because they understand conference, and what our goal was going into this year is to win the Mountain West Championship, and in order to do that, you start conference play and take 1 game at a time, and this is our first opportunity at the conference, and so I think our kids understand that. They've worked hard. They've had ups and downs in the games, and I think they've learned big lessons, and so they're excited to start conference play, as I'm sure Nevada is. It's same for them. They're in the same situation, and I'm sure they're saying the same thing in their meeting rooms.
We're not going to be seeing the pistol offense that we're used to seeing with Nevada. Now they've switched to the more air raid is what they're calling it over there. What did they do well over there at Nevada?
Well, they spread you out. That's the idea, is to spread you out and get you in space. And anytime you're spread out, it creates more lanes in the run game to be able to run the ball. They've done it. Coach Norvell has done it for a long time and has done a good job with it. And so it's like anything else when you get into the first year of a system. There's growing pains probably, but they improve each and every week with it. And so, but the main thing is to just spread you out.
Coach, you're facing a coach in Jay Norwell, who this is his first year as a college coach. What have you seen from him so far?
Well, I haven't seen him at all because he hasn't been on the field. So he's like I just said, he's taken over a team, implemented new schemes, and I know he's a good coach, very good coach, and anytime you implement new schemes and things like that, there's a learning curve that goes with it, no different than us. So we're, very similar situations.
Anyone else want to do anything today?
All right, this might be a crazy question, but is there any way that your team could be overconfident going into Saturday night's game? Do you have to any thought that you may have to guard against that? just based on Nevada's record and who they've played and how they've looked recently?
No, I think anytime. Actually, that's not a bad question. That's a good question. It's not about being overconfident. It's just about making sure that we prepare hard and that we're 100% focused on the job at hand. I don't think overconfidence would have anything to do with it, but it is something that you make sure that we understand that each and every day is critical in preparation. And, probably why that you ask that question is you come off of Alabama and you come out of Washington and those type of things. And so I fully understand, and the message is to our team loud and clear about this is our opportunity to start conference play. And, we really haven't done anything yet. We haven't played in a game yet where there's ebbs and flows so much of tight scores and things like that. We're way ahead in the first game and then got behind in the next two. So it's going to be critical to keep our focus and our poise for 4 quarters. Well, yeah, we addressed it for sure, because that's a very good point. And games are different. Even though we're playing hard, we competed really hard and played well in the second half of those games. It's still not with the same emphasis of things going back and forth. So that is a very good question. And I've addressed the team about it. And what we need to do is just make sure we continue to practice the way we do. It's really about us, and it's about how we focus and concentrate and play with poise and take one play at a time. And that's how we practice. And so I have confidence that will lend to us staying focused throughout the game. Yeah, it's pretty equal. Both have done some good things. Both have done some things where we can improve on. And, so as we go through the week, we'll just take a look and see how it's going. Yes, we will. Most likely on Friday.
And I know David played a comparative score game because it's always a different situation, and maybe Alabama and Washington wanted to look better than they did against you guys. But Alabama was short of Vanderbilt, Washington goes to Fulton Field, and Penn State goes to Colorado. Do you look at that and maybe gauge yourself a little differently in light of those?
No, because gauging ourselves really comes off of what Saturday is going to be. Those things really, those were lessons learned for us. We played hard. We competed well, in the second half, but we got down early in both games, So really the gauge is going to be this weekend, and each and every game after that. It's just take one day at a time, 1 week at a time. Each Saturday is a new day, and it's going to take our A game to win any game, and so that's really what it's about. Is it's about, you can't really play that, scenarios are different and all that kind of stuff. So, did we play 2 great teams? We played 2 great teams. You played the number 1 scoring defense and offense from last year in the Pac-12, the number 1 defense in the nation at Alabama, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year and the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year. So those are 2 good teams that we played, without a doubt. But that means nothing this weekend, other than we've had a chance to play against some good competition at a high level, and the game's been very fast. And how that translates to this week, we'll find out.
Yeah, Coach, how would you assess the play of your offensive line so far? And would you say that against Alabama and Washington, that unit was one of the bright spots for your team?
Yes, no doubt. I think they've protected the quarterback well for the most part. Been, besides a couple penalties at Washington, penalty-free up there, which is hard to do against really fast, good fronts. I think we had 1 sack at Alabama that was really because the ball got snapped early and the quarterback wasn't ready for it, and they got a sack there. But for the most part, our guys have been doing a pretty decent job up there, But, again, this is a new week. It's a new week against a team that does quite a few things, and so we're going to have to be heads up and like to be a little bit stronger in the run game, to balance out what we're doing offensively. So it's going to be a challenge this week for them.
I mean, do you think that establishing the running game against the opponents you're playing coming up, is that going to be something you might be able to accomplish a little more easily than
we're going to
against
find
the last
out.
two?
We're going to find out. I think it's important to be balanced on offense, no doubt about it. And but running up against those two teams, up against their fronts and their schemes, was a tall task, no doubt about it. No one, they're, like I said, number one in the Pac-12 in defense and number one in rushing yards allowed in the country at Alabama. So they're pretty stout. Okay, that's that. But this is a whole new week, a whole new challenge, and you have to execute no matter what.
Who's been your best offensive lineman so far, as grades, post-game
Well,
grades?
they've gone back and forth. Muti graded out real high at Alabama. I think at Washington, Micah played well. They're all playing pretty solid. So like I said, though, that's yesterday, and it's about what's going on this week. And so, but it's a real promising group. I think they do a good job. Coach Grubb does an excellent job of coaching them and preparing them, and grinding them to play hard and play well. And they've been disciplined, which I think is against the two fast defenses that we played in the last 2 weeks. Not to come away with a ton of holding calls when you're on the road. Not a lot of offside penalties or false starts in a hostile environment like the last 2 weeks. So I think they've focused pretty well, and Coach Grubb's done a nice job of coaching them.
You kind of mentioned it a little bit. Nevada has played 3 quarterbacks. So how does that impact, the defensive game planning for you guys?
Well, it's, and they're a little bit different. For sure, the freshman likes to pull down and run a little bit more than number 12 did last week. But that doesn't mean that he can't run. So we have to make sure that we do a good job of keeping our eyes disciplined and doing what we're supposed to do. It's really about taking away the things that they do, not so much taking away the quarterback, but taking away the things that they do in the run game and in the pass game.
On your defensive line, one constant in the 3 games is really 3 waves of defensive linemen getting a lot of rotation there. Is that something you expect to continue throughout the year, or has that allowed you to identify guys who are going to get more reps now that they're in conference?
We're going to keep rotation. I think it's important to keep them fresh and don't feel like there's a huge drop-off with any of them. There's certain personnel packages for down and distances that are specific to that. But mainly it's to keep guys fresh and rotate them in and out and get them playing hard.
Coach, how excited are you to be back home for a game now at Bulldog Stadium?
It's great. It seems like it's been forever. That seemed like a long time ago from the first one. And so it'd be nice to get back home. You had 2 weeks away plus a bye week, so, it's a long time. And so our guys are excited to be back and in front of our home crowd, and hope everybody comes out and supports us. We need them out there to create that energy and excitement, make it difficult on our opponents, so I hope everybody comes out.
Any final questions?
Well, I don't know how much time you've been able to spend out there, but it sounds like you're going to have a few sections that people aren't going to be able to sit in Saturday night because of this water main issue. Have you seen it? Does it matter? Does it do anything for your team?
I've seen it. I was out there yesterday, and I saw it. And really all it does for us, we have experts here and people are very knowledgeable about what they're doing, so I'm sure they'll take care of whatever the issue is. But really all it does for us is it puts us on the grass for most of the week or all the week. I've been told it's going to be up and running, ready to go for game time, so not really something I'm concerned about. I know, other people will take care of that. It's the only thing that changed for us is we were going to go in the stadium last night, and we had to move to the grass. So really that's not a big deal. All right, thank you.